Hello and welcome to today's episode of Smut a Girl Wants Book Club, where two best friends talk about a book that we've just read. I am Kabriel.
And I'm TJ. Today we'll be talking about City of Gods and Monsters, book 1 of the House of Devil series by Kayla Edwards, who I think this is her first series.
Really?
Yes.
How did you find this book?
On like one book talk account.
Uh-oh.
Someone talked about it, but then all the comments were talking about how obsessed they were. It was on specifically, it was in a rating on this girl's video.
Oh, of like book boyfriends?
Book boyfriends, and it was boyfriends that yearn. Even when they get the girl.
Oh, okay.
And I was hooked, and all the comments were like, "Oh my god, Darian!"
TJ loves a yearning moment.
Love this book.
We do know this is the first book in an incomplete series.
Yes,
I think the second book is out.
There's 3
That are out?
that are out. I think it's going to be 5 or 6 books.
Oh my god.
Let's confirm. Currently planned to be 6 books. Book 4 is coming out in July.
Okay.
Which is called The City of Smoke and Brimstone.
Shall we begin?
Welcome to Angel Theme. We hope you survive.
It sounds like a game.
I know. Loren Calla has only ever been ordinary. As a human struggling to survive in a city that caters to the needs of vampires, werewolves, witches, and other supernatural creatures, she always assumed her life would remain simple, predictable, and as safe as her world would allow. Until she barely escapes abduction at the hands of Darkslayers, supernatural bounty hunters that possess the Sight, a magical tracking ability that allows them to see a person's aura, and one of her friends is taken in her place. The abductors are demanding a ransom, Loren's life, in exchange for her friend's safe return. Loren will do whatever it takes to get her friend back, even if it means accepting help from Darian Castle, the leader of the Seven Devils, the most feared dark-slaying circle in the city. Darian specializes in tracking down demons and criminals that are better off dead than alive, so when he takes a job to track down Loren and find out she's human, and couldn't hurt a fly if her life depended on it, he decides to protect her instead of turn her in for a reward. That's where I got hooked. As much as Loren doesn't want to admit it, Darian is her best and only chance at finding her friend alive if she can somehow manage to get along with him and not fall head over heels in love with him in the process, which is far easier said than done. When more women start disappearing and some of them slowly turn up dead, Loren and Darian's search for answers takes them deep into Angel Thene's corrupt underbelly, where they discover a dark secret that threatens to unravel their world. And when tragedy strikes, Loren learns that love can make an ordinary person do extraordinary things.
That is so long.
That's very long. It is a long
There is
book.
no way that's the end of the book, or the back of the book.
There are also trigger warnings.
Ooh, what are the trigger warnings?
This book contains darker content that might be triggering for some readers, including violence, mature language, sexual content, drug abuse, death of an animal, with a happily ever after, sexual harassment, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and suicide. It's not intended for anyone under the age of 18. I would agree with that.
I like that it says death of an animal with a happy ending. Just to like even the adults like me, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. They really give a lot of the plot away, huh?
So a lot more books have trigger warnings now, but it does say
Reading the trigger warnings
would
will
be
do spoilers.
considered a spoiler for some people.
Yeah.
So it really does depend. But I like that there's the option of reading it because there are, heavy drug use in this book.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a trigger for some people, for example. So I think that is cool that they have it, but I like that there's this would be maybe a spoiler for some people. So heads up. Let's get into it.
First up, we are going to talk characters. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how much did we actually like the characters? Do you want to go first?
4.
4.
4.5 maybe. I love these characters. 5 I think is reserved for like cream of the crop. 4. I love these characters. I love all the characters. I think they're all really interesting, even the ones that are not good people. Like the villains are also interesting. I think they can be annoying at times, but that's because they're young. But I think that they're still well-rounded.
Yeah, like Loren is young.
Yeah, she's 19.
She's 19.
But I think they're still well-rounded people. Not necessarily have all great traits, but I think they're all people. That makes sense to me. I thought they were super fun to read about. I want to learn more about everyone. I'm so excited for you to read the rest of them and get to know them. Solid 4. What about you?
3.
That's
at
fair.
best.
Okay, that's fair.
At best. I agree. I think the failures. I think the characters were very honest.
Yeah.
I felt a lot of the actions and the responses were very true to the nature of the character. So I really liked that about the characters. But I also felt that the characters were a little bland.
Fair.
I think they fell into a certain category and they stayed there. There wasn't a ton of growth. There wasn't a lot of depth.
That's fair. How'd you feel about Loren?
There are a lot of reviews about Loren that she's kind of annoying. She is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But I have to say, she is never described as this warrior. And she isn't one. And that's what I mean when I say the characters are really honest. Mm-hmm. She is meant to be pretty frail. She's meant to be pretty meek.
She is a 19-year-old through and through who's immortal in a world where that is the bottom tier.
Yes. She does not have a lot going for her. Not like physically, but like physically she is very weak. Yes. She's very dependent on others to protect her. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the time in the books they would get into this scary moment and she would be cowering.
Biggest trouble with her is the noise.
And I was like, you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I really felt her actions were honest.
I felt that was very believable and a kind of fun change of pace. That
very
she didn't
believable.
like just grab a sword and suddenly be like, this crazy
warrior
that
would have shocked me more.
Yes.
That would have felt so much more wrong.
I think the biggest thing is that she is so 19.
She's so 19.
And there are some times where, as someone in our 30s, I think sometimes reading really young characters when you're not young anymore is a little... Someone's choices are juvenile and silly and annoying, and then you have to remember that they actually are juvenile.
They actually are juvenile, silly, and annoying.
You're just, okay,
like, all right.
This makes sense.
So that's what I'm saying. I do feel like the characters were believable.
Yeah.
I think she acted very appropriately for the type of person and age that she is. Mm-hmm. I just don't... It's not my favorite character.
That's fair.
It's not my favorite character type. What did you think about the nicknames in the book?
I didn't like them.
Hated them. We've talked about this a lot. Mm-hmm. Loren, Loren. I read it as Lauren the whole book. And I know she specifies that it's Loren.
Yeah.
But then her nickname was Lore, and it just didn't seem right.
And this is not really a criticism of the writer. This is my own ability to read, I guess. I really struggled to mentally read Loren. It just didn't flow for me. No. I just read Lauren the whole time.
Me too. And then the fact that the nickname was Lore,
it really solidified
kind of leaned into the idea that her name should be Lauren.
Yeah.
If your name is Loren, I feel like Ren would be a really cute nickname.
Yeah.
Lola made sense because it's Ren or Loren.
He kind of calls her. Sense. He kind of calls her Lola, kind of out of nowhere.
I loved it,
and it like kind of slipped out, and I was like,
"Oh, this is good."
Darian has a little crush,
but Sab
didn't like it. Dal made sense.
Dal made
was
sense.
Okay.
Dare made sense. Sab, have you never verbalized the name Sabrine in your life? Sab wouldn't be, would it?
Sab.
Sabrine.
Sab. I think I kind of like skipped over that sometimes.
Yeah, I just kind of was like.
I mean, if we're talking about characters, both boyfriends, what did you think about Darian?
I liked Darian. I did. I thought he was a real knight in shining armor. The only thing I didn't believe is that he's supposed to be scary.
The problem is we never see them from anyone else's point of view. Because it felt like these really young people almost cosplaying as...
Oh, yeah. As adults.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
that's, I think, why I didn't like it as much. I think that sums it up perfectly. Young people cosplaying as adults.
Yes.
They're doing really well. They have a lot of money. But they're just babies.
They're just babies.
They're just...
I'm the baby, gotta love me.
They're all in their 20s.
They're all in their, like, early 20s, too. And they're supposed to be, like, running the city because they're so badass. I really have a hard time wrapping my head around that.
Yeah.
We are now on to...
Blush. Our question here is, did this book leave you blushing? This rating has nothing to do with actual spice. It's more about the tension.
Yes.
The banter. The flirting.
The yearning.
The yearning.
I was almost going to give this, when I was just thinking about this now, I was going to give it a 2.
Oh.
I know. But then I remembered the club scene gets a 4. I am apparently kind of into voyeuristic flirting. Mm-hmm. We have the club scene in this book. It is giving Under the Mountain. It is so hot.
Oh my God.
It is incredible.
Yes.
I was losing my mind. I haven't felt this blush since Mist and Fury. Mm-hmm. So I am all in. That scene alone.
I hit that scene at like 2 a.m. And I was like, well, I'm up till 3. Okay.
It was so good.
While they're together a lot, there's not a lot of flirting. And there's also a lot of just, I can't be with you.
Ugh.
So
I can only take so much of that.
But
what do you give it?
I would say a 4. Yeah, because of that scene and because like really early on, there's some great parts too. I also really liked anytime it was Darian's point of view and he was watching her. I was like, he's smitten.
Oh yeah.
Which was very cute. At the very beginning, he has a great line because he has sort of heightened senses. And she's thinking about him and she's like into him from the very beginning. And he says something along the lines of, will you do me the very great honor of telling me why you suddenly want to drop your panties?
I know. I was so in.
I was in.
Yeah.
When he's thrown by her, I love it. Like when they go on a date and he sees her tongue ring and he's floored.
Yeah, it like came out of nowhere. I was like, you haven't noticed it yet? You've been...
And
this is like months into them being friends and he notices it when they go on a date. I'm like, what the...
Hilarious.
I didn't buy it. So now we are going to get into the Scoville Scale.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to super hot, how spicy is this book? Can I go first?
4.
Really?
Because I don't think that last scene ruins the rest for me. It was just like not a great payoff.
Okay.
But the rest of it I really liked. And I thought, actually, no, if I'm going back to my own
I was
scale,
just going to quote you because she's lying.
You're right. I was rating it by how much I liked it. If I'm rating by how much there is, it's probably
is spice level because I feel like she's mixing her blush with her spice.
I am. Probably a 2.
I gave it a 2.
Because it is very much a slow burn.
It is the slowest burn. You don't get nothing until the very end.
Yes. There's one scene that isn't... It's a spicy scene, technically, but it's not like actually...
It's real like first base.
Yes.
Second base.
Yeah.
Oh, the club scene?
Yeah.
Second base.
Yeah.
That's hand stuff, right? Yeah, first base is just kissing. Second base is hand stuff.
Yeah.
Third base is mouth stuff. And home run is sex, I think?
That
makes sense.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
what I always thought.
So there's a lot of stuff that they say that was whoa.
But all of that ties into blush, I think.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. Most of it is slow burn with a lot of like talk.
Yes, a lot of talk, not a lot of action.
There's a lot of
all
flirting.
bark, no bite.
Yes.
I also gave it a 2 because I was not that impressed. The club scene, fantastic. A little bit of action, really well done. I'm super into it.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing. There is like actively nothing. There's all of those moments where they could have, like they're finally admitting their feelings to each other and they don't. And they save it right until the very end of the book when kind of happy ever after has already been established. Finally, they go for it. And I just didn't buy it.
That's fair.
What I will say, and I think this ties to it, first things first, I think first time sex is not my vibe. That is not something I like to read. And this is that because she's a wee little innocent thing. And I realized as I was reading it, it's, you know how some people they don't like the like pregnancy trope? First time trope, not for me.
That's fair.
What I will also say, this hanky panky is the most realistic fantasy hanky panky I have ever read about. It was so accurate to what it's probably like. And like there were so many things that they were, and I think that's why I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I get enough of that in my real life. I want some weird, I mean, not like weird shit, but I mean, like, I don't care. I don't care if it's weird, but I want the stuff that's not going to happen to me in real life.
Like the club scene.
Like the club scene.
Yes.
You're never going to do that in real life. I mean, some people,
Some people might.
But I wouldn't.
No.
And so reading it was just so normal. The book is so high fantasy and these guys are talking about how, you know, women are like screaming his name and I was like, no, that they're not. Having read the rest of the books, where do you think it falls?
Oh, they get spicier.
Okay.
Yeah. And it gets better.
Okay.
Yes. Like I don't think it ever becomes a 4 or a 5. There is more to it.
Okay.
As things progress.
I mean, I would take a really good 3.
If you were to read the rest of the books, more point of views come into the story.
Oh, fun.
I won't tell you who or what happens, but you start getting to know different characters from their point of view. Some people love that, some people don't.
I like that, I think.
If you only want Darian and Loren, this is not the book for you.
I feel like half the fun is the flirting phase, and if you've already got a couple that's established, you don't get the flirting phase.
And it also fleshes out the story a bit. So you start seeing the plot and story from more angles.
I think that is the perfect intro to plot. What do we think about the plot? Scale of 1 to 5. Did we enjoy the story that is written on the page.
Yes, solid 4.
Solid 4.
This plot had me. I thought it was really interesting. I mean, there were a lot of fresh parts to it that I thought were like a fun change of pace for me. They're a little bit more high fantasy, sort of set in a world that's a little bit more old-fashioned. I liked that it was the city. I liked that the magic system was a little different. I thought the what are the Dark Slayers again?
What do you mean?
Like what's their...
That's their race or their breed or whatever you want to call it.
No, it's not. It's something else. Dark Slayers is the profession. Darian is it's a word
Helseher.
Yes, so he's a Helseher. And I thought that was really interesting. I thought the concept of the tricking was really cool.
God, is it Helseer?
That would make a lot of sense.
That would make a lot of sense, but I've been reading it as Helseher.
A few moments later.
I loved the magic system, and I loved the concept of the tricking, that using your magic is dangerous because the more you use it, the more likely you are to get sick. And the tricking illness is essentially that you start aging at a like normal rate. I think it was a really fresh, fun change of pace. The first book does feel reminiscent of Crescent City, but the first book, which is the one that I liked the most.
Yeah.
I think the pacing was very similar because that last third, it gets really chaotic.
Yes.
We
were trying to do like a plot recap together.
Yeah.
It just moved at a certain point.
I think the world building is very good in this too. Like it felt like a different world. It didn't feel like you just live here with different rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It felt like an actually fleshed out world.
Yes.
I will say also, since, I've already previewed the other books a little bit, the first one feels like Crescent City. It does move away from that. It becomes its own story.
I don't love the Crescent City series.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
But that's what I mean, is a lot of, like, if you read it and that this just feels like a copy of Crescent City, it fleshes out.
So you would recommend to keep going?
Yes, absolutely I would. I think it becomes even more intriguing.
I think I liked it enough that I would read the second book.
That's
You
fair.
just read so much faster than me.
That's fair. How would you...
This is light.
What's your rating of the plot?
My rating of the plot is actually a 4 as well. I really felt that it was an interesting world that she built.
A whole part that I missed was the crossroads. The crossroad
the widow
demons.
lady?
The demons are really interesting.
Yeah.
And like all the different crossroad demons.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Great way
Really
to kind of
cool.
pull from like some of our lore and
Yes.
apply it. I
Yeah.
thought it was a really interesting choice.
Yeah.
I would also give it a 4 because I really liked a lot of these choices. I liked the world that was built. I also thought the aura was cool with the smelling salts and the tricking. I thought all of that worked really well as a world that was created to have the characters live in. I think enjoyed that.
This book specifically, its strongest feature is the plot. Mm-hmm. If you're into a good story, this is a good story. Mm-hmm. I think the familiars were really fun. I'm obsessed with the Hob.
You would be.
He's so cute.
He does sound cute. I'm trying to picture him just like munching an ice.
Right? I think that was just like a fun extra little bit.
Yeah.
This is definitely like a strong start.
Yes.
But, if you're not into committing to a 6-book series where each book is probably like 700 to 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
I would still say that this is not a potato chip book. This book is probably more of a meal. There's a bit more going on, Yeah,
there's some layers.
Yeah.
There's some courses to this
Yes.
book. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What did you think about the finale with the wish from the liar god?
I felt a little underwhelmed.
Me too.
Because I think there was a lot of buildup. We knew that she had, or no, did we know that she had this wish? We found out that she had it.
Kind of.
It just kind of felt like it was there as a plot point for later when she had to save everyone. I thought at one point that she was descended from a god. Mm-hmm. I thought maybe at one point she was the well. I thought there was some
she was the well too at one point.
Yeah, and I thought there was something there's clearly something going on with her. She's abnormal. I have a theory that her kind of diabetes.
I would say diabetes.
It's like
her blood sugar issues.
Her blood sugar issues.
I hate the blood sugar issues.
She's hypoglycemic. My theory is that it's because she is some sort of mythical.
Well, no, they answer that.
They answer what her blood sugar issue is?
Yeah, in this book, the way they sum it up is that her blood sugar issues are because something about the power of the Arcanum well that lives in her was never meant to live in a mortal body, so her body can't handle it. And so she has low blood sugar. The only thing I hate about the blood sugar levels is the fact that this girl is 19 and she doesn't carry enough snacks on her. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I am sick of it.
Take care of yourself. I think the tattoo was a cool idea. That was
was
also
cool.
That was also a blush-worthy scene too. Where he
That was
holds her
cute.
hand. That was cute.
I like that they did his point of view because then
Yeah.
you realize how painful this tattoo is. I thought
Yeah.
that was a really nice touch. But the fact that of the 3 guys in the room, nobody was willing to hold her hand because they know how painful it is. I was like,
I like that the doctor calls him, who's also
somebody's mom.
I can't remember which one.
Not Jasper.
What's his name?
Ajax? Alistair?
What's his name?
I don't.
His mom is the doctor, and she like calls them on it. She goes like, "All of you are too scared to hold a pretty girl's hand."
And I like Darian's like, cowards.
No, I
was like, you're a coward and you know it.
Okay, you're really intimidated by her. This is, its own way, like kind of a tropey book. It's very much touch her and you die, only soft for her, grumpy and sunshine book.
It is a grumpy and sunshine book.
Yeah, which I kind of love. I thought it was great. An interesting way to handle some trauma. Like, he clearly is a very traumatized individual that is not handling it very well.
Actually, it's true. And she's kind of not traumatized.
Yeah, she's like, just kind of flipping
she's
through
just
life.
full sunshine. And I'm like, that is actually kind of an interesting combination because you can kind of see those in real life. Like, you've got the, like, grump and the golden retriever. And this was very much that. I think that's what I mean is, like, the characters were very believable.
Yeah.
They were very, like, true to what normal people are, which is kind of nice to read about every once in a while. Again, not the, like, high fantasy. It lacked a little something for me. And I think that's a personal preference. I like a little fantasy. Do you know what I did like? With the Nameless, the Crossroad Demons, I really liked that she wouldn't make much of a deal with, what is her name?
Loren?
Loren.
Yeah. The main character.
We've only been talking about it for like 20 minutes. I liked that she wouldn't make a deal with Loren because Loren had nothing to offer.
Yes, yeah, nothing of
that
value.
Was so just kind of heartbreaking. It felt very true to the world that had been built, where humans really are like the lowest of the low. Mm-hmm. They're kind of like a plaything to have, but they don't have any real importance. And I thought it made it so devastating.
I agree. That whole part with Singer was
devastating.
Real sad. This book needs more attention.
Yeah? Do you think it's underhyped?
I think it is underhyped.
I will agree with you on that one. I think it is moderately underhyped.
Yeah.
Mostly because I've never heard about it and it was a pretty good read.
Yeah. A lot of criticism that a lot of romantasy gets, this one answers. Because I think there are a lot of people who are frustrated with the lack of plot in a lot of the romantasy books.
And this goes, here's some plot.
Yeah. And here is some well-rounded plot.
Mm-hmm.
Darian is in my top 10.
Darian's in your top 10?
Oh my god, yes.
No, not for me.
I love him.
He's really good. Would smash.
Who is your top 10?
Who is my top 10? Okay, Ash is up there. Ash. What's his name from Ash and Fire or whatever it's called? The series
yes,
the prequel
Ash.
series.
Ash is
so
Ash
good.
is in there, yes.
Ash is in there. Reese is probably in there, but specifically Mist and Fury Reese.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is Xaden in there? Probably not. Xaden's actually really not.
He's not in there for me either.
I'd have to, I'd have to go through my books and see what I've read and remind myself.
Reese for sure, because Reese kind of started the whole thing. Ash, absolutely.
So good. Really, really good.
Darian, not sure who else.
I'd have to do a deep dive into my own well-being to figure out who my top.
I really need to know myself.
I really need to know myself.
Dorian.
Dorian.
I love Dorian.
Wait.
Like Throne of Glass Dorian.
Throne of Glass. Is it Dorian or is it Darian as well?
Dorian.
Prince.
Dorian and Darian.
I'm not sure anymore. It's all blinding together.
Overall, should you read this book? Yes.
Yeah. Go for it.
Yes.
It was fun.
That is